Hi there, I'm Jay and this is the Camden Stitch. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me. If you want to know what I'm wearing, it is my dress that I made from my birthday, August birthday, and if you want to hear me talk a little bit about it, then check out my Sewing on a Budget Part 6, where I mention it because I made it for So Frugal, and the So Frugal challenge is still running. The hashtag is SoFrugal19 over on Instagram. We've had some wonderful entries so far. I've absolutely loved seeing your makes. Please consider joining in. If you go over to Instagram, have a look at my grid and you'll find all the info there. So today I thought we could have a little catch-up video because obviously I had a couple of weeks off because I haven't been feeling very well. I'm having some really weird neurological symptoms, and if you follow me, you'll know that I have various mysterious and aggravating health problems, but I started feeling a weakness all down my right side, which was obviously a bit of a worry because of the risk of stroke. And we sort of followed NHS 111 online, phoned them up, took advice. I did have some paramedics come out for me. Everything's, well, I say everything's fine. I didn't have a stroke. I didn't need to go to hospital. They said that they thought that because I've already been, I'm already under investigation and have been referred to a neurologist for various problems that I've had since Christmas, really. So I'm waiting for my neurology appointment, which is finally at the end of this month. But we don't know what it is. I've got numbness in my right foot and just a lot of fatigue, and the fatigue has been really sort of disabling. I had sort of get these shaking fits, and then I just get so tired, like on one occasion Ian had to basically like almost carry me to bed, and I was so tired I couldn't speak. So it's been a bit horrible and frightening, really, and it's been difficult to sew, and obviously I haven't felt like vlogging, but I'm sticking with it. I am still getting help, and basically we'll see what the doctors say. I'll keep you posted. So that's what's going on with me. If you do follow me on Instagram, you will see that I had a book launch that I really wanted to go to, and I made it to, despite sort of having had a couple of weeks of this horrible grot happening. And I really wanted to make a dress for it, and so that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. And I've just realised I've not put my mannequin in shot, so I'll be right back. Hiya, I'm back, accompanied by my beautiful hand-stitched silk dress. Now I will pop some photographs in of me wearing it so that you can see it in all its glory. So the reason I wanted to make myself a new dress was because I had been invited to a book launch by the comedian Sara Pascoe. I've been a fan of hers for a long time, and I participated in some research for her new book, which is called Sex, Power, Money, and I do obviously recommend that you check it out. So I had done a bit of work with her for that, and I was really chuffed to be invited to the book launch. And it's kind of like what I dreamed my life would be like, flitting around London, going to fancy book launches, drinking champagne. Obviously I don't drink anymore, but that's kind of the life that I dreamed about. So I was very determined to make it to this book launch despite factors. So I decided I wanted to make myself a really beautiful dress, and I wanted to wear something that was kind of slinky and chic. Now I'm not a chic person. I am a kind of extrovert, brash person. I associate being chic with being understated, but I wanted to make something that was both me and had my sort of quirky style and chic. And I'd got in my mind, I definitely wanted a trapeze style dress. I'd got in my mind that I wanted to have a low dropped back. I knew that to get what I wanted, I would have to hack a pattern into exactly what I wanted. So I really wanted something with a I really like those cowl necklines that you wear upwards that make it look as if your clothes are on back to front. I don't know why, but I always think they look really sort of fashionable, like fashion, like as in high fashion sort of thing. And so somebody recommended the Alma blouse by Wear Lemonade, which is actually a pattern that I already had. So I had a look at that and I absolutely loved the back on it, but I decided that I wanted the back to be lower. So I decided I wanted to make up this pattern with a shift dress. So I took a shift dress pattern, and I shall pop all the patterns that I'm talking about on the screen because I've no idea what pattern number they actually are. I used a simplicity pattern that's already in my stash, because I just wanted a basic sort of t-shirt dress, and I made up a toile of this dress with the Alma collar by Wear Lemonade on it. Now this is the dress that I made. It's only a toile, and Gemma, if you're there, you'll recognise this this fabric because it's your curtains. So I'll pop a picture of me wearing it. It wasn't a success because it was too small at the top, and I graded out to the hips, but the top was actually too small. But it gave me an idea of what this back would look like, and I realised that I kind of wanted the back to be lower than this, and I wanted the collar to be bigger. But you know, that's what toiling is for, isn't it? It's to experiment. And in my pattern drafting course, my tutor Louisa always, you know, says that you're going to make a number of toiles. I know that in the sewing community, people think it's really wasteful to keep on making toiles, but when you're actually drafting your own pattern, the only way you can get your fit right is by making these things over and over again. That's what the process involves. So I then moved on to my second dress, which I made in gingham, and this time I decided to use the bodice of the Wear Lemonade blouse, but add volume to make it a trapeze style, and it's got these lovely buttons down the back. Now this dress was not a success. I decided, because I made it up with the collar on, and this gingham, which is just from Fabricland, looked very, very thin, and I thought I'm going to have to line it. So I lined it with this thing that was sold to me as viscose, but it actually looks so polyestery that I'm not 100% sure. It was from Oh So Crafty. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about the composition of it. So once I'd lined it and I'd put pockets in it, it really hung badly. It's a real shame because it looked really promising at first, but it looked pretty awful. Now, I wasn't making it up in this fabric to wear as the dress. I was making it up in a fabric that I liked, so that if I liked it, I would be able to wear it as a dress, but it was just to get the style lines and the shape and the fit right. So at this point, I thought, well, maybe this collar style is not going to work for me. It came up too small on this version and not deep enough at the back, etc. And I was just thinking, well, maybe this style isn't going to work for me, and time was running out. And this was last week, and I was basically making a dress a day. I was cutting the dress out in the evening, following day I was sewing it up, and then I was cutting out a new pattern, so drafting my pattern and cutting it out the next evening, and I was like a sewing machine, quite literally. So I thought, I'm going to try a different pattern. So I tried the Myrtle dress from Seamwork, which is one that I had printed out. I get my PDFs printed out at the copy shop, and I'd had it ready to go, and I thought maybe this would look good. So I tried it out, and this was my next effort. Now I'll post a picture up, and you can see, unfortunately, that this dress is just too big for me. It just swamps me, and it's a real shame because I worked so hard with these chevrons. I matched them up so perfectly on every side. I cut the skirt with a seam down the front and back so I could get perfect stripe matching. I mean, look at that, come on kids. And this is scuba, and it is very, very shifty. So the fact that I got them to match so well, I was so chuffed. And by the way, my secret weapon in getting them to match was to not to pin the seams before I sewed them, but actually to stick them with wash away quilter's tape that you can get on Amazon. I'll pop the link in the description box below. It really stops those seams shifting about and really makes your stripe matching perfect. Really recommend. Now, because this dress is fully lined, the front of the bodice is lined, the way that you cut the cowl neck is that you cut it double, sew it and flip it over back onto itself. And so what it means is that to actually get this dress small enough to fit me, I think would be a bit of a pain because it's all already sewn on a stretch stitch, and to take it in properly I'd need to unpick that, and I think that would not go well with the fabric. So if anyone would like this dress, I'm happy to send it you if you send me £3 for postage via PayPal. Last time I gave a dress away I did it via Instagram, but I recognise that not everybody's on Instagram, so if you would like this dress then drop me an email at thecamdenstitch@gmail.com and I will if you PayPal me the £3 for postage, then I will happily send you this dress, which I would say is a size medium. I think I'm a size 8 to 10 at the moment, so I reckon this is about a size 12. It's a bit long in the bodice for me as well, so if you, I mean everybody's shorter than 5'3", but I reckon if you're about 5'5", size 12, it will fit you perfectly. Yeah, I'm happy to send this dress on rather than waste it. It does need hemming, but I'll leave you to hem it because you might have a length that you want to take it up to. And oh yeah, put pockets in as well. I can't remember if pockets are in the pattern. So I decided to return to the collar idea. I've had this fabric for ages, and it's neither green nor turquoise. It's described as like a neon green, and I think that describes it perfectly. It's coming up a little bit blue on camera, slightly more green than that. I just love the colour. I think it's fabulous. It's so vivid. So this was the dress that I got closest to it actually being one that I liked, and I French seamed it all. Again, this was just a toile. And for this one, I decided that the Alma dress that I'd hacked, the gingham version, wasn't coming up as full as I would like for the trapeze sort of style. So for this one I used a dress that I've hacked before into a top that I've hacked before into a dress. It's the Simple Sew Juliet tie back blouse, and it is very simple shape. It's got grown on sleeves and it goes like that, which is the style of dress that I like, as you know. So I just used that pattern and added the collar, and it came out lovely. I really like it. I mean, I haven't bothered to finish it properly, but you can see it on the images that I'm going to put in. I haven't finished the sleeves, but I really like that style, but I still felt it wasn't quite right. I don't know why, but I just wasn't loving it. It was difficult to get the back at a depth that was low enough for me, because I really wanted it to be cut quite low at the back, that you could still wear a bra for and that it would still stay on your shoulders for, because I didn't want it to be falling off over my shoulders, and you know, I didn't want to be flashing everyone. So I thought, all right, I need to change my strategy. Now, I'd seen a post on Instagram by So Leah. Now Leah Nichols was a Sewing Bee finalist, and I followed her on Instagram since she was in the Bee, and now her style is what I would call chic, and she had posted a version of a Vogue pattern, and I just loved it. And I looked up the hashtag of that pattern and saw other people's versions, and I absolutely loved it. And although I didn't have the pattern, I thought to myself, right, I've got the skills that I could actually draft that pattern from my own bodice block. And what I'm going to do is, when I do my little pattern drafting series, that's the dress that I'm going to show you, because it's really, really simple. It's a plain trapeze style shape with the back is drafted slightly shorter, about that shorter than the front, and it's got a gathered frill added at the back, and I used, as you can see from my pictures, which I will pop in, I used a very vivid contrast colour for my frill, and I actually cut in, they didn't work out so well, but they were good enough. I actually cut in circular, sort of, well, semicircular, I call them like half spot pockets, and put the back of the pocket in the same contrast, very vivid red. It was just a polyester from Walthamstow Market, but I think it works beautifully. I'll just give you a bit of a closer look of the dress, at the dress. So that is the frill on the back. These are the pockets, which didn't work amazingly well because they kind of puffed out a bit, but I'll show you, they probably work out better that way. As you can see, they are a semicircular pocket that's cut in with the pink and red graphic print behind, and I just really think it works so well. And I lined it with the bright green fabric, and this is the dress that I dreamed of. The main fabric is a silk twill from Berwick Street, no, not Berwick Street, from Cloth House, from their outlet shop, which is actually at the bottom of my road. It's closed at the moment, otherwise I'd be in there every Friday when they're open to the public. I'd wanted to use it for ages, but it was one of those things where I wanted to use it for something posh because it was silk. Never had a silk dress in my life, but also it was kind of a bit too, the monochrome look is a bit too plain for me. I think it's very chic, but I wanted something that was a bit more extrovert, and by adding the flashes of colour, I just think I absolutely got it. This dress is just me to a T. It's absolutely everything. Now, after I'd made this one, I hit on a problem. My dookie has, the needle threader has broken, so I sent it back up to Frank Nut to be repaired. Now I'm a bit annoyed because I've had this dookie for only a few months and it's had to go up for repair twice already, and I've never had so many problems with another sewing machine. I don't think it's the fact that it's a dookie. I think the dookies are brilliant. I think that it might be because it was second hand, and I'm wondering if there's actually been a problem with the construction of this machine, because I don't know why the original purchaser returned it to the shop anyway. It may be because she was having millions of problems with it. So I'm going to give it another go. I mean, it sews beautifully. I love how it works. I just wanted to stop breaking on me, so I'm going to give it one more go. So I was already sewing on my Pfaff, which is my backup machine. All going fine, obviously sewing a dress a day, powering ahead. It got to the day before the event and my Pfaff stopped working. Don't know what happened. The bobbin was jamming every single time I used it, and both myself and Ian tried our best to do different things with the needle plate and the bobbin, but we couldn't fix it. So I'd got no dress and no sewing machine, and I was in bits for about 10 minutes, and then I just thought, do you know what? I'd been talking about hand sewing things because a fellow chronic illness spoony sewist, Jojo, hello Jojo, has been sewing things by hand because she hasn't been well enough to get to the machine, and I'd been speaking to her and saying I would love to do that, but my hand sewing skills are not great. I think since I've been doing quilting, my hand sewing skills have improved. I thought to myself, do you know what? This is your Waterloo. This is your moment when you are going to have to put your money where your mouth is and sew the bloody dress by hand. Now, the problem with drafting things yourself is that you're not given instructions or an order of construction or anything like that. So that was a bit of a head scratcher. Because I was sewing it by hand, I wasn't quite sure how to, in what order to construct it. But I figured it out, and I sewed my pocket bag facings, and then I sewed my shell, and I sewed both shells, and then I sewed the shoulder seams, sewed the neck hole and armholes and bagged it out. And I was just frantically sewing. So I'd got about, I don't know, a day and a half to do this in, and I was just sewing at every opportunity, sewing like mad. I mean, my stitching is a mess, and hand stitching isn't that secure, and I had no idea whether or not this was even going to be wearable at the end of all this. And I was thinking I was worrying about kind of ready-to-wear dresses that I'd got that I could make as a backup. Because the annoying thing is, once you sew, you know that every single person is going to ask you if you made what you're wearing, and it's very disappointing if you have to say no. This was in the middle of the latest heat wave as well, and I remember I had to go and visit, I went to see a private neurologist, and I took my sewing with me on the bus, and Ian just looked at me when I got it out. But I'm so pleased I did, because I was sat on that bus for nearly an hour, and that was an hour's worth of stitching I got in. Anyway, at the last minute, I suddenly remembered that I did own 2 other sewing machines, because I own 2 overlockers. And so I did finish up sewing the last inside seam, that one, and sewing the frill on. Bless him, I'd got Ian gathering I taught him how to do gathering stitches to gather the frill for me, and I sewed the hem. I did a roll hem on the overlocker. So I did finish it by sewing machine, but it's mainly hand stitched. And the main thing is, dear reader, when I actually got to put it on, I just loved it. I loved how it looked, and that was quite a revelation, because I could have been stitching an absolute mess. I'd got no idea what it was going to look like, but it just looked fabulous, and I was so happy with it. And honestly, if I hadn't had that dress to make, I wouldn't have gone to that event, because I don't go out in the evenings, because I find that I get so anxious during the day that I'm just paralysed by anxiety by the time it gets to the event itself. And I haven't been out I think I've been out on Ian's birthday, so once in the last year in the evening. I just hate it, but I really wanted to go to this. And focusing on this dress got me there, and I just wouldn't have done it otherwise. I finished it. We decided to get a taxi there, partly for anxiety reasons, but partly because I hadn't got time, because I was bloody still sewing it with an hour to go. And yeah, we got a taxi there, and I had a brilliant time, and I'm so pleased that I went. Yeah, I'd love to know if you've ever had any mad rushes to finish garments, and if they've ended in tears, or if you finished up with something that you loved. The finishing on this dress is quite appalling. Where I was affixing the frill, the knife wasn't cutting properly, I think because I was sewing in such a hurry, and you can see it's just a mess. But by that point, A, I was desperate, and B, I just thought, nobody's going to see that, nobody's going to notice that. I'm just gonna blag it. I'm gonna bluff it out, and I did. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing about my quest for the dress. I would love to hear any of your sewing triumph or disaster stories, if you've got any. Tell me in the comments box downstairs. Anyway, as you can hear, I'm nearly losing my voice after talking solidly for 20 minutes. I'm going to leave you to it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give me a thumbs up. Press the subscribe button to hear more from me, and click on the ding ding bell to get notified every time I release a new vlog. It's been lovely chatting to you today, even though I lost my voice. Lots of love from Camden. Bye!